Good morning. My name is Joe Bandel, and I am the last Rosicrucian. Today we're going to talk about old humanity and new humanity, because humanity is currently going through an evolutionary change, a quantum leap, if you will, into a new existence. Humanity evolves in stages, and if we try, we can recognize what those stages really are. Humanity is currently on the cusp of a brand new stage of existence. But how did we get here? What did our ancestors do to bring humanity to this point? How does it work? Well, the first group of ancestors that I'm going to be talking about invented reading and writing, as well as logic and reason. Very powerful tools for humanity. For simplicity, I'm going to call this group of people rational atheists. They still enjoy a prominent place in today's world, but they've become antiquated and are in the process of being replaced. The evolutionary process, remember, things move on. In a few minutes, we can see how they have been replaced and by who. Then later, we will see how that group of people is now also being replaced by an even newer group of humanity that is just now in the process of being born. And it's being born through this ascension process that Gaia is going through. I will call the second group of people, the ones that have replaced the rational atheists, social enforcers, because their greatest desire has been to enforce their own social and spiritual values upon the entire world, whether the world wanted it or not, my way or the highway. For the rational atheists, our physical world, world is truth. The physical life that we live and the families that we belong to are the things in life that matter the most. The social enforcers, on the other hand, believe in the truth of the immortal spirit. They believe in the vanity and transitory nature of the world, the physical world. They believe in the eternal and unshakable truth of spirit and the immortal life of the soul. So we're seeing a kind of a conflict between physical life and the spirit life. So the very thing which the rational atheists consider the most sacred, the physical world and family relationships, is spurned by the social enforcers and considered valueless. Without value, the social enforcer does not live in this world, but lives above it. From this, we can see that each side perceives a truth that is opposite to that held by the other. One side holds the natural physical world to be true, while the other holds the imaginative, spiritual, and heavenly worlds of the astral planes to be true. It was the rational atheists themselves that turned their own truth into a lie through the creation of reading and writing, and sophistry or intellectual debate. In Greece, a new generation of philosophers called the sophists or sophists began to use debate with logic and reason to diffuse the rationalistic doctrine. They used mind as a weapon, as a means of trickery and defiance to overpower the rational atheists and the power of physical reality. You follow that? The sophists used debate to prove that logic and reason were just traps. In essence, they did not lead to a realization of reality. Socrates fought back. He said that you needed to listen to your heart as well as your mind. It was not enough to follow the path of the mind. One had to follow the path of the heart as well. He made it clear that logic and reason could be used through sophistry to rationalize and justify anything. This began a second era of Greek philosophy, a period of liberation of the heart. But the heart remained worldly, minded, and crude. The mind was much more powerful and dominant. A new war began, to become master of the heart. Socrates began the examination of the heart, but the skeptics finished it. The sophistic culture made the mind so powerful that nothing could stand against it, and the heart of the skeptic was no longer moved by anything. It became a stone heart. As long as man was entangled in physical reality, as long as his heart had to struggle to be free from worldly passions, his spirit was not free, because spirit does not have a body and is not of this world. This world does not exist for the spirit, and no bonds or temptations exist for it either, except for the spiritual world and spiritual bonds. And this is what the invention of reading and writing led to, that human awareness could know itself as an immortal, non-physical soul, as an awareness without a body, with no ties to the physical world. And the only thing it cared about was spiritual things, the spiritual worlds and the soul. The worldly and natural no longer had any control or domination over it. And the rational atheist came close to the spiritual and tried to become spiritual, but they couldn't. They remained trapped in the mind, trapped within logic and reason, and trapped within the spirit of the physical world, the only world that they could know. But a new generation of humanity became spirit, and sought the spirit, and recognized only spiritual things. So the non-spirituality of the rational atheists set them apart from the social enforcers forever, because the wisdom and insight of the rational atheists lies as far from the soul and the spirit world as the distance between heaven and earth, and so it remains today. That's quite a mouthful. What's it really saying? It's saying that that humanity evolves in stages, and the first stage is really organic. It's dealing with physical things, physical life, the physical world, and it gradually evolved to be more mental, or it involved logic and reason. But it was stopped at that point. It was stopped at that point because it claimed that logic and reason was the furthest it could go. And it couldn't make that leap over into the spirit worlds. Now you have another group of people, these, well, those were the rational atheists. This other group, the social enforcers, were all spirit. They were able to make that leap, that evolutionary leap, and they believed in the soul, and they believed in astral planes, and they believed in psychic abilities, and they believed in magic, and they believed in all of these things, life after death. They believed in these things, and they experienced these things. But they believed in them so strongly that they denied the physical. They denied their bodies. And what we're looking at is the conflict between heaven and hell, I guess. Choose a material life or choose a spiritual life. You can't have both. That's the conflict between these two groups. And there was no reconciliation until now, because there's a third group, and I call this third group Organic Gnostics, that are able to bring heaven, to bring the spiritual world, and integrate those things into the physical world, into physical life. So this new group of people this quantum evolutionary leap of a new humanity is bringing heaven down to earth. And we're in the process of making this earth into a Garden of Eden, like it was originally intended. But it's this new group of people that's going to be doing it. The other two groups don't have the capacity. They're still going to be going their own ways. One's going to be denying the spirit, denying psychic abilities, denying anything of the spirit, denying anything of the heart. And the other side is going to be saying, hey, there's nothing in the physical life that's real. There's nothing that's permanent. There's nothing that what you want to do is you want to focus on after the afterlife. This new group of humanity, this new batch of humanity, this ascending group is able to experience both in the present moment. They're able to exist, their awareness exists in a multi-dimensional way, where psychic abilities and emotional, it's psychic abilities are normal, magical abilities natural. This is a new thing, but it's here. And some of us are the pioneers that are dealing with it and trying to show others the reality of it, how it works, and how they may become empowered as well. That's kind of what I'm trying to do, because that is the way that I live. I live in a multi-dimensional way. I live here in this physical world, but also I'm aware of what's going on in the non-physical worlds, the astral planes, which I've tried to share in various videos over the years. Videos or posts over the years. So we'll talk about these things later. This is just kind of an introduction to that. Then the reality that humanity is making a quantum leap into a new state of being. We are creating a new Garden of Eden right here. It's here if we can discover it. Consider being a patron. Help me out. Check out the available videos. I'm offering special videos for my patrons. $1 a month is all I'm asking for most of those. You can see it, check it on the web page, or go to my Patron account and check it out. Give it some thought. Share this with others if it feels appropriate. Thank you.